which I love to do, but the real impact comes when you're just present. You know, I can come in and I can speak to an auditorium full of kids, get them excited about something. But, you know, my grandparents was country. They said, what good does it do to wash a pig and put them right back in the sty?
Don't make no sense.
You waste your time.
Makes
and
no
so
sense.
I look at it from that standpoint, you know, hopefully we can start to make some impact to where the sty is cleaned up, to where you're not returning back to the same situation. And really coming to an aspect where, like I said, we'll stop counting on a government that benefits off the demise of a people to all of a sudden say, you know what, I know I've been doing this, but let me stop because, you know, this hurt their feelings.
It's not happening.
No, it's not going to happen.
It's not happening.
So if you're not willing to step in and say, look, I'm not going to continue to point fingers at the school system because there's absolutely nothing preventing me from hopping my happy tail on Google and educating my son about Black Wall Street, educating my son about some of the, you know, the aspects of, even from cultural standpoint. You know, if you got a young Mexican American that is constantly being talked about as a wetback or talked in a derogatory term and they fall into all these stereotypes, why don't you teach your child about the beautiful culture in Mexico prior to all these things coming on? Teach them that they weren't just immigrants. They're not just trying to escape from a culture, which, you know, Mexico is just this horrible place. Understand and take them through the process of this is what they're trying to escape. They're trying to escape the aftermath of countries being torn apart through capitalism and greed. That same aspect when you're doing it, you know, with young African American males, if they don't, we got to stop starting with slavery. Teach them about Egypt. Teach them about Kemet. Teach them about Timbuktu. Teach them about all of the beautiful aspects of a country and a continent that is often, you know, kept away from us. When I say the word Africa to you, most people would think, you know, oh, sickness, poverty, and violence.
Yes, that's what they show
you. But then when I come to you and ask you, do you realize that Africa is not just a country, it's a continent. It's the most minerally rich continent on the planet. It's
a lot of people get rich off
the most technologically advanced aspects of culture where civilization started. Do you understand that some of the founders, quote unquote, of European philosophy had to come to Egypt in order to learn and go to school? How do you become the originator of something you went to school for?
Yes.
And because we don't understand that and we don't make that a part of our culture, we allow our kids to believe that they're nothing more but escaped baboons from the system of slavery that should be happy where we at. Versus understanding that everybody that's in this country, they didn't start here. Unless you're a Native American, your story didn't start here. Your culture didn't start here.
True.
So understanding different aspects of culture so we can begin to build and appreciate one another is on us. It's not the school system's responsibility. It's not, you know, the legislators' responsibility. It's our responsibility because we're not in a place where we're getting killed for reading no more.
You have the opportunity.
So there's nothing preventing you from being able to teach your son and teach your daughter about the beautiful African Nubian queens and kings and all the culture that's incorporated into that to embrace and bring that into perspective. Yes, slavery was a horrible thing. It was absolutely horrible. But it will continue to have its foot and its root if we teach our young people that's where we started. That's not where we started.
I tell people.
But we're not, you know, coming from a standpoint of building them up.
Right.
And so when you give somebody, you know, the information about slavery without giving them what you were before then, you breed nothing but anger.
Well, that's what you have, though. That's ding ding 2016. That's what you have. You ask what's the problem, what's going on with the youth, and why they think the way they think. If you looking at pictures and imagery of negative, and you started at slavery, be happy for what you got, keep moving from there, right? So if you started hearing that and getting that, you're gonna have some self-esteem issues for one. You're going to have some anger issues for two, and you're going to have some knowledge issues because you're not going to realize the quality in your worth. If you had just as many messages coming on about what you just stated versus the negative imagery in the message, have your work. You wouldn't have to write a book, bro. you wouldn't even have to worry about writing no book because all the issues would already be resolved because those communities we talking about, we be one of them too.
Man.
Because we understand the importance of that. I would love to see a movie called Before They Were Slaves. I would love to see a movie come out like that.
Yes, and that's the push that we're coming for, because one of the mindsets that we operate in with From Boys to Gentlemen is not doing bad is not the same thing as doing good.
Exactly.
In our program, we're not dissatisfied with you not getting in trouble no more. What contribution did you make to your community? It's one thing for you to be able to say, I didn't have no detention, I didn't fail nothing. That's great. But here's the thing. You expected to do that. Not only do I expect you not to fail, I expect all A's.
You can
tell me all day that, I'm not going to sit back and be happy because you got 70s. No. I don't feel like I'm doing well as a mentor if I'm not pushing you to understand the importance of doing the best that you can in whatever you do. So you just getting by, you flying under the radar, you no longer being a candidate for the prison system, that's great. But I want to know, why is your community better because you're present?
Yes. And
why, what did you do that left the impact to not just, impact you with a nice little story? What individual did you touch? I don't care if it was just one, but what individual did you set aside and say, look, I see what you're going through. Let's move through this thing together. We're going to start a book club. We're going to do a study group. One of the young men in my group is actually, because one of the requirements is establishing either a community service event or a entrepreneur opportunity. So one of the community service events that one of my youth is, he heard me talking about it, and he stepped up to the responsibility of organizing it, is adopt a grandparent. And basically what we're going to be doing is contacting some of the local rest homes, and we're going to set up schedules where we get to go out and meet with, often forgotten portion of the community. And it's such a treasure chest for these young people to be able to set and build relationship with people that, often are overlooked, but they have so much wisdom.
Wealth of knowledge.
So,
wealth.
Them having, wealth of knowledge and having that aspect of being able to speak to them. But on the flip side, giving them the importance of realizing treat people like people. You may look at a rest home or something and never even thought about doing anything from that aspect. But I'm looking forward to, the program to where we're able to, if a young person has an extracurricular activity or they have a sports night where it's parents' night, we want to be able to facilitate bringing that grandparent out that the child adopted and bring them out and roll them out there and be like, this is my grandparent. So when you set up and take your pictures with your parents, just another aspect of community that we're putting into place. And I believe that's really where things are going to bring change. When we teach people to respect one another by not just telling them what they need to do. Because I think that's one of those elements that have been extremely uncovered with working with these youth. We often use the word respect, but we don't take the time to find out what respect means to them. And for most of them, when they hear the word respect, it's not respect. It's not being disrespected. In essence, their level of respect is you ain't going to talk to me crazy.
Yeah,
You're not gonna
I see you
me.
as an individual. Just because you're young, I don't see you as less of an individual just because you happen to be young. I'm going to respect you just like you respect me.
Right, and they don't know that. All they know is, when I hear respect, you're not going to slap me. You're not going to cuss me out. You're not going to do this. So when I start bringing in the ideas of being compassionate, what is that? Being compassionate and being considerate. What's that mean? What they got to do with respect? No, not just being in a position where they fear you, but in a position where they feel like they're valued as a person. That's what respect is.
Bottom
and
line.
You should see the look on their face like, what? Like, it's not about you just being able to sit back and have them hands and don't nobody come up and talk to you crazy. It's about the fact that somebody might see that you having a bad day, and instead of just, not talking to you crazy, actually coming in and see if there's any solution that they can bring to it, whether it just be them standing next to you and letting you know that you're worth that time, or whether it's a conversation, or you have a tangible need that they can meet. Like, okay, you might be a little stressed out. Your mom can't make the light bill this month. Oh, man, I was going to go buy the new Call of Duty and the Xbox One, But hey, I can wait on that, homie. Let's get your lights turned on.
Just like that.
And that's the element that we don't learn how to communicate. We don't learn how to respect. And that's the thing that From Boys to Gentlemen is about, developing manhood and bringing it back into the community. So we have communities that are led by men that are respecting, that are modeling, and that are active.
I like that. Because, like you said, it takes it just from a conversation. It actually takes that action, and then when you put it in place, you actually see the results and the smiles on people's faces and the reaction that you get from, hey, doing something is good. Not just talking about it. And I like how, again, you just taking it from griping, complaining to actually real results, and you're bringing other people along with you to see that. And that's a beautiful thing, bro. That's a beautiful thing.
Yes, sir.
You're able to think outside of that, though, man, and keep it moving and grooving like that. I would definitely want to follow up with you on some of those initiatives with the adopted grandparent and things like that. Anything Think About a Radio can do to help you out, with your calls or whatever, you can just let me know, man, because the reason why I did the show for the online podcast show was to bring notoriety to positive people out here doing positive things, and because you have an audience and a spirit of influence, and the people they listen to have a spirit of influence, and we can just pass the information down and use these kind of platforms to even have those conversations, because we have a lot of conversations, yes, but we don't have good platforms to put them on so we can all grow together, man. And that's my goal of it, that we can all grow. And as I said, this conversation tonight, bro, has been like absolutely eye-opening. I hope anyone that's listened to it, that will listen to it, man, will grab that book and get and sit down and really read it, because what you're saying is from a level that a lot of people are not on. They don't actually see these kids go through it. You actually walk and talk with these kids on a regular basis. Most of the people, all they can do is respond or react to what they see from a distance. You're up close to it, and that's a beautiful thing. That's why your words have so much validity to them, man. Because you're right there in the mix with it. Hey, anything, man, we can do for you, though, man. I've taken up enough of your time tonight, my brother, and I really appreciate your help and everything. One more again, though, man, let the people know how to get at you, how to get your book, how to book you for any events, anything, man.
Yes, sir. You can contact me on Facebook, Chris Daughtery, or you can look at the page From Boys to Gentlemen on Facebook as well. If you are looking for the book, you can go from boystoGentlemen.com. That is where you can purchase the books. You can also get on the mailing list. We got some things that we're going to be working on. I also have some YouTube. If you want to check out the first chapter of the book, it is on YouTube at the moment. We're working towards getting the audio book as well. But if you're contacting for a speaking engagement, or you want me to come out and do a workshop or a seminar, you can contact me on Facebook. And my number is 325-518-2805. Feel free to put that on there. And definitely be sure to give me your information so I can post that on my page and in my group page, so we can start to spread some of this message.
Oh, I can dig it, man. I can dig it. I definitely appreciate it. Everything you're doing, I'm definitely going to get my information so we can stay connected on all that. And, man, just keep doing what you're doing, my brother, and keep fighting a good fight, because what you're doing, that means a whole lot, man. I appreciate your efforts and your time, for real.
I appreciate you, sir. Thank you so much for even gracing me with the time for the show. Look forward to, being invited back and having some more conversation. I appreciate what you added to the conversation.
Oh, definitely, man. You're very welcome, man. Well, this has been Mr. Chris Daughtery, the author of the book From Boys to Gentlemen. And this has been Sheldon J. Think About It Radio. Hit me up, thinkaboutradio at yahoo.com, on Twitter at think_radio. We appreciate everybody. Shout out everybody doing something with your life. Those that's not, what are you waiting for? Keep on keeping on. Keep your head up, chest out, and keep it moving. Thank you once again. We'll get at you when we get at you. Peace.